When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here, but then one of my buddies showed me this website, and now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportsyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call Call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge. Everywhere. It is I, your lovable host, L. Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. The number that you can call, as always, is toll-free 603-835-3224. Excuse me. As we get into the middle of the week, hump day, begin to slide into the weekend. You know, people, I wanted to start the show out with something different, but I've had to change my plans on the fly because, you know, this is what broadcasting professionals do who broadcast live. They change when necessary on the fly. One of the things that, I did want to bring you first is somebody asked me, why do I say liberty lovers all across the globe? Well, because you see on websites everywhere, mine included, there's this little thing called analytics. Now, for those of you in Rush Limbaugh's Ria Linda, analytics can tell you, you know, who's visiting your site, who's listening to your program, that type of thing. It's kind of like the Nielsen, Nielsen? The Nielsen report for, that isn't Nielsen, obviously, for, you know, online radio programs and your websites and things like that. It tracks not necessarily individuals, but where people are coming from, where they're listening or viewing from. Now, for my website, rodeccles.net, analytics tells me that, yes, the vast majority of people visiting the site are from the United States of America. But that's not all. That's not the only place I get people coming to my website and listening to the show. Quite interesting, analytics tells me that the number 2 place that people are listening to the show from is Britain. You would think it would be Canada, but nope, it's Britain is number 2. Now, number 2, in the spot of number 2, where people are visiting my website from. Now, I don't know if I should be scared about this or flattered by it. But number 2 is not what you would think. Not Britain. It's not Canada. You would think it would. It's not even Australia. You would think, although those 3 are in the top 5. Obviously, those visiting my website, rodeccles.net, the vast majority come from the United States of America, yes. But number 2, and number 2 by far, which is a real shocker to me, the number 2 place that people are viewing and reading the rodeccles.net website are coming from and reside within the nation of Russia. Yeah, go figure that one. And this has happened for 3 months straight. I don't know why. Maybe Russians do. You could assume that, hey, the reason why people might be listening or paying attention to the website from places like Australia or England or Canada, maybe it's a bunch of Americans that are there, but there aren't a bunch of Americans in Russia. There aren't a bunch of U.S. military personnel in Russia. So I'm at a loss as to fully understand it, other than, Russians are human and they like freedom as well. So no matter where you are on this globe, you are more than welcome to visit rodeccles.net or listen to this program. And that is why I say freedom lovers all over the globe, because there are freedom lovers all over the globe that pay attention to this program. I am rather flattered. The only thing analytics doesn't tell you why. It doesn't tell you why somebody is tuning in or paying it. I don't know why. If I knew why, I'd do more of it to make sure I'd get more listeners and viewers, but I can only speculate, and it's because they like freedom, either that or maybe because I often mention things about Putin. They want to know what I'm saying. I don't know. Maybe I'm becoming enemy number 1,000 or something in Russia. I don't think I'll be taking a trip to the Russian Republic anytime soon, just to be on the safe side. The other thing that changed what I was going to start out with the show tonight is something that I did. Yes, it's based on something that I did. Now, over on Facebook, I shared what I felt was a rather patriotic portrait. It was a little baby who was sitting up. And I don't know, maybe the baby was probably 9, 10. I can't guess age of baby. Maybe 9 or 10. But it was able to sit up on its own. And they had the photographer had posed the baby and draped a flag over its head, and it was the background was beautiful. It was a beautiful picture of what I felt was a display of patriotism. Now, I got an unexpected bit of backlash from places that I shared this picture. Now, granted, most people thought it was a beautiful picture. They enjoyed it, but there were some, and they were vehement. Not that I took the picture, because I didn't. But the flag was draped over the baby. Obviously, babies are very small, so the flag was also touching the ground. And the first thing that these people spotted was that the flag was touching the ground, and they were mad about it. And I was thinking to myself, really? Really? And their answer to me when I said, well, this is a display. I realize that the flag is touching the ground, but let's face it, this is the display of patriotism here. And you just don't understand. And I love it when people say, you don't understand how people suffered and died and fought for this country. Hello? Who do they think they're talking to? But my response to these people was, you know what? I get it. But, the flag touches the ground all the time in a non-disrespectful manner. I've seen it. It's happened in war. They don't, you don't see, you don't see the pictures of people from, like, say, the Civil War. You got the flag bearer who's running up to the enemy to lead the rest of the troops. They get shot. He falls down. Flag hits the ground. Nobody says, "Whoop, hold on, got to get a new flag because that one touched the ground." No. They pick that one. The first person near it picks it up and keeps running with it. But here's my issue with them. I said they need to lighten up and just take in the picture for what it means. Its symbol. Not that it's touching the ground. Because, frankly, if you're going to go the old-fashioned route, because the old-fashioned flag rules of etiquette, as it were, yes, if the flag hit the ground, that the flag could no longer be flown. It must be burned in a ceremony. But those old-fashioned flag etiquette rules also basically said the only thing that the flag is for, or can be for, etiquette-wise, is for display. And it cannot be used in any other manner. Now that means that, hey, all the kids that are wearing T-shirts with the flag on them going to school, their principals are probably right if you're going to go by old standards. That's disrespecting the flag. According to old etiquette, it is. Having the flag depicted on your shirt, your hat, your pants is disrespecting the flag. Having your flag on pockets. I've seen, lots of people with flag patches on their pockets. Well, now they're sitting on the flag. That's a disrespect to the flag. So you can't have a flag on your mug. No. And for all of you people who do all sorts of other things with the flags, like wrap yourself in the flag, even if it's not touching the ground, that's a no-no. So when I bring this up, they go, "Oh, well, no, that's okay." Really? So we're going to pick and choose now. Did you also know that it was against flag etiquette to fly your flag at night? How many people still do that? If we're going by old-fashioned etiquette, then the only thing that you can possibly do with the flag is drape the coffin of the war dead and fly it. That's it. No hanging it on the wall as far to make it an art piece. Nope, not at all. There's no letting it fly at night in the darkness. Nope. Not unless you have a light pointed on it. And you're on a military or U.S. installation. If you're at your home, old etiquette rules are flag comes down at sunset. That's it. So you people who are being upset at whoever the photographer was of this picture, and at me for sharing it, shame on you for being hypocrites. All I look at it as is somebody who is heartfully showing their patriotism. Plain and simple. This whole notion that just because, a small portion of it actually touches the ground is somehow demeaning to the flag. No, the symbol of the flag is what that baby was all about. Wish we had more people who would do that with their kids and explain it to their kids as they grow up. This flag represents the greatest nation on the planet. Wrap yourself in it. Always. By the way, it means no, speaking of wrapping yourself in it, it means no flag blankets or blanket throws. It means no flag shawls. Plain and simple. In any case, I am not going to stop finding and sharing true patriotic symbols of freedom in the form of photographic evidence. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. Sorry, can't help you. All I can say is you need to lighten up. When he said, there is no lightening up when the flag touches the ground. Really? Somebody's got your lunch. But sometimes you gotta laugh. And sometimes I just look at it, and they keep responding after I explain, and I'm not the type of person that has to get in the last word. I'm not that type of person. So I'll look at something and just say, okay, I've said what I needed to say. I've said made my argument, and you guys want to run around in circles, fine. I'm not. Moving on. Because you know what they say, a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. Bring the facts to somebody. You bring the absolute facts to somebody, and they still want to believe the way they want to believe, then you're not going to change their mind, so why continue the conversation? Go on about your business. See? Go on about your business. Speaking of going about your business, looks like there's more wins on the Republican side after yesterday's off-season or off-term or midterm election. Well, it's not even a midterm; it's just an off-term because it's not last year, 14. It's an off-year election. Was it Oklahoma elected a new governor? This is the same guy that went to Kentucky to stand by the clerk who wouldn't issue gay marriage licenses because of her staunch religious beliefs. I know people who try to tear that apart all the time. And again, hey, it's just like with the flag, people pick and choose all the time. If we actually went by verbatim. Granted, this would be a entirely different society and an entirely different planet. If Christians actually lived in this whole notion that, well, you can't eat ham. No, that's not the case. But if we were to actually go by the Judeo-Christian ethic, verbatim, people wouldn't be getting divorced. There would be no crime. People would not be defending their so-called Christian denomination because there wouldn't be any. That's right. There wouldn't be Protestants. There wouldn't be Catholics. There wouldn't be Mormons. But we get all of this stuff because why? We pick and choose. Plain and simple. So we go to the polls and we pick and choose among candidates. And it looks like, I got a story here that even, let's see, where was this? But the sheriff out in the San Francisco area who released the illegal immigrant that ended up murdering an American citizen female that got this whole illegal immigrant sanctuary city thing going, he was resoundingly beaten in his reelection bid. So even out in California, even out in the Bay Area, people are leaning more conservative. They don't want these nut jobs in office, and if they can get them out, they're getting them out. So basically, Republicans picked up more seats all across the country in this sees an election. And the GOP is still, out there, well, we can't pander to the extreme right. Well, you know what? You're missing the whole thing, because that extreme right base is what's keeping you in power. We keep voting for conservatives. We keep voting Republican. We keep trying to tell you what we want. The American people keep trying to tell their state legislatures in Washington, D.C. what they want. And state legislatures and Washington, D.C. continue to ignore what the people want. So the people are saying, well, fine, we're just going to start getting rid of all of you. It started in 2010. Now, 5 years later, the trend is continuing. You have these people that are jumping up and down for joy because they say that the Tea Party has lost support and the influence of the Tea Party has waned. Oh, no, it hasn't. It has not. If anything, the Tea Party movement has increased. But see, as the Tea Party was born as a grassroots movement, it had to evolve and keep its grassrootness, if you will. And now it isn't so much that people are running around in a party like, Democrat or Republican or Libertarian. No. The Tea Party was never meant as a political party. It was a political movement. And a movement is not something that you can categorize into a typical standard party. And because it is not typified and exonerated in a typical political party, it looks like that maybe it's losing steam, and it's not. What's happening is it's remaining grassroots and going even more grassroots, where people are just individualizing it, and now they're doing what I've been telling people to do all the time. Talk to your neighbors, your friends, your family, and your coworkers. And evidently, these are what these people are doing. Because it seems like every election cycle since 2010, except for a small blip in 2012, there has been an overwhelming support for Republican candidates and conservative Republican candidates. Now, if the Tea Party was losing steam and conservatism was losing steam, we'd start to see the numbers go the other way, but the numbers continue to go in the direction of the right. So, people like Boehner, people like McConnell, people like McCain, they're out of touch. They're out of touch with the American public, and what Americans don't want to look. A lot of these. This started with what was the proposition out in California for gay marriage when it was turned down originally? That Proposition 8. And what shocked the LGBT community as how many of the minority, especially the African American community, voted gay marriage down. The number was like 85% of blacks voted. Even after they tried to say, well, it's a civil right, it's just like civil rights, it's just like blacks, it's just like that kind of, and African Americans were not having any of it. So every time that the LGBT community tries to bring something to a vote, or the left tries to bring something to a vote to the American people, 99% of the time it is resoundingly rejected. As a matter of fact, the only reason why we have most of this stuff, this political correct garbage, is simply because they were able to find judges who were willing to write law from the bench instead of interpret the law. But if it were to remain as far as the Constitution and what the American people wanted, the left wouldn't have the majority of the stuff that they have. So this is something that those that are in power need to fully understand. The American people Keep reminding them that they want them to be more conservative and just do what they say they're going to do. Period.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Start training for a new career in as little as 18 days. National EMS Institute's innovative boot camp program will train you for a new career. Learn to respond to emergency situations and become a certified EMT in just 18 days. National EMS Institute guarantees 100% job placement. Visit www.nationaleMSinstitute.com today to learn more about our 18-day boot camp. Or call us at 1-800-497-6732. NationalEMSInstitute.com.
Stuck in a boring, low-paid job? By 2017, there will be a shortage of 2 million cybersecurity jobs worldwide. If you have a technical background but don't have a computer certification, you are being drastically underpaid. In months, you could be qualified for a new job in information technology, making real money with real job security. A new career is just a few clicks away at thecodeoflearning.com.
Hey, you have all these pundits out there, usually on the left, that are just Well, there are new poll numbers out. And if you look at the numbers the way these guys are looking at them, excuse me, hiccups. See, live radio. You even see, I am human. I get the hiccups every once in a while. Live, these people on the left are seeming to, they seem to be very giddy. Because Carson is now, basically neck and neck with Trump for the lead. And everybody's, yeah, Trump is losing steam. Actually, no, Trump isn't. He isn't losing steam. Yet Carson has picked up a lot of support. Absolutely truthful. But it isn't at the expense of Trump, really. It's at the expense of most of the other candidates. But, the left is all giddy. Well, geez, we can get rid of Trump. Trump is gone. We're finally, whatever that we're doing is finally working. But the reality is, it's not. What they're doing is not working. Trump is, one of the things that I found quite interesting is that Bush, for whatever reason, has been thwacking and thumping Marco Rubio left and right. He even tried to go after him at the last debate. It really kind of backfired on Bush, but I'm trying to figure, why would you be going after Rubio? Well, the thing is that if Bush loses and slides out, well, who's the next okay GOP candidate? Who's the next inside the Beltway guy that the inside would accept? Frankly, it's Rubio. Now, because Rubio was all for, illegal immigrant amnesty. And the inside the Beltway Republican leadership, they want that. But Bush obviously thinks that, well, for some reason, he thinks that he doesn't have to worry about Carson and Trump. So what he has to do is take out Rubio so he can be the man on top. But all that strategy has been backfiring on him. But then all of a sudden I started seeing other candidates, especially Trump, also pile on Rubio. Trump especially has been, the past few days, extremely harsh on Rubio. So I'm thinking what this is really all about is that Rubio is the wonderkin if Bush can't pull it off. He is. Now, I got to ask a question. Rubio looks like he's going bald. He looks like he's developing, typical male pattern baldness on top of his head. And I'm trying to remember, other than going back to the early 1800s, I think Adams, I'm trying to remember the last president in modern history, especially, that we elected that was bald. Would that have been FDR? Oh, no. Ike. Eisenhower. He had typical male pattern baldness on the top of his head. But we haven't elected anyone that didn't have a full head of hair since Kennedy. I don't believe. I'm trying to think. Well, LBJ. Did LBJ have... I'm trying to picture LBJ at the moment. Did he have a full head of... How about Nixon? Nixon had a full head of hair, right? We know Carter did. He still does. Reagan did. Bush, 41, still had hair. Nothing like his youth, but he wasn't exactly bald. Clinton, obviously still has his hair. Bush, 43... had hair. He wasn't quite bald. Obviously, Obama. And I know people are trying to think, what the hell is he talking about male pattern baldness for? Look, there are certain aspects of people that other people pay attention to, either consciously or subconsciously. Now, one of the issues that Dr. Carson is going to have is Dr. Carson has this very thin goatee going. Now, we haven't had a president with facial hair since, I think, Teddy Roosevelt. Because it's expected of our leaders to be clean shaven. I don't know of any congressman or senator right now, not even a black one, that has facial hair. I can't think of one. Look, this is a visual enterprise as much as it is a policy enterprise, as much as it is a verbal enterprise. People pay attention to what the candidates look like. If they look crisp and sharp, they're good to go. Now, let me give you an example. Rand Paul isn't bald. He isn't going bald. He has no facial hair, but his hair's a mess. Now, granted, that's his style. I'm not saying that it is a mess. He probably styles it that way. But it's not exactly, and his hair is wavy. It's not straight or, not what people look at as being presidential. He kind of looks, even though he's starting to gray now, getting a lot of gray, he still kind of looks like a kid. And I think people have a hard time viewing him as being president. I'm not knocking how the man looks. I mean, he's not a bad-looking guy, I suppose. But he kind of looks like he's 12. He looks like a kid. And so my only concern with Carson is that he's got this goatee going and it's graying. I'm not sure that's going to play off very well nationally when this thing really gets going. Now, everybody talks about Trump's hair, but the man has always been in the public eye, and he's always had that hair. So I don't think people are going to expect anything. Donald Trump all of a sudden changed his hair. They would think that there's something wrong, and there's something up, and he's trying to pull over a snow job on people. So Trump is like the only one that has to stay the way he is, because he's so well known with his current hairstyle. He's always had it. Go back, it just, 20, 30 years now, his hair has been similar. It hasn't really changed. Yeah, it's gotten lighter, it's grayed. But other than that, no, it's pretty much been the same. So for him to change it now is probably not a good thing for him as far as the visual impact. And then you have Bernie Sanders over there. I don't know what his mess is. Yeah, Sanders is mill pattern baldness, but what's left of his hair. The man know what a comb is? I don't know. He looks crazy. That's his problem. He looks angry and crazy. And he often lives up to that look that he has, which is probably not a good thing for him either. But I digress. So we have the left who are just jubilant that it looks like Trump is losing steam, but he's not really losing steam. As a matter of fact, Trump is actually, he's doing something that's kind of under the radar right now. And this is something, now you have to remember, Trump said that he would do this. He said he'd do it. And everybody on the left just poo-pooed it, and, because they listen to Telemundo and all that kind of stuff. What's his face from Telemundo? And they poo-pooed that there was no, because Donald Trump's rhetoric on shipping back the illegals and, and that people coming across the border, most of them Mexicans or many of them were criminals and rapists and murderers and thugs and all that kind of stuff. And, they tried to rake Trump over the coals for that, but it didn't work. And now, here's a story from the Washington Times. Because Donald Trump said that he'd win over the Hispanics. He'd win their votes. And now here's the story from the Washington Times. Donald Trump could win over Hispanics who fear job competition from illegals. Think about that. Here's the analysis. To hear political pundits tell it, Donald Trump has little chance to attract enough Hispanic voters to win the presidency in 2016 because of his plans to build a border wall and deport all illegal immigrants in America. Now, some pollsters and activists who have whipped up past Hispanic support for Republicans, however, see it differently. They think that Mr. Trump's lasering in on the economy and his perceived competence in creating jobs will appeal to one segment of Hispanics that matters most in elections, those who work and tend to vote. Although Democrats are trying to change that demographic by illegals who don't work but want to vote. Now, this is because voters fear illegal immigrants will compete for their jobs under the new Obama amnesty. Now, African Americans have already sensed this, and they're asking that question. Hey, Obama, where are the jobs? Why are you allowing all these illegals in here? And, we're over here in these cities dying. Well, African Americans are starting to ask the question. Everybody talks about, well, let me put it in colloquial terms. Hey, everybody out there getting theirs. Where's mines? How come I can't get mines, Mr. Obama? Because they're not getting the help, the assistance that was promised to them. Not at all. As a matter of fact, in many urban areas across this country, African Americans are worse off today than they were before Obama took office. And the African American community is taking notice. Why do you think Black Lives Matter is out there protesting Hillary Clinton? Hillary is, I ain't no ways tired. Hey, I'm here for you blacks. I'm here to work with you. And one of the things that they're saying is, you lie. You and other Democrats have been saying this for decades now. When are you going to tell the truth and actually start helping instead of lying to us all the time? Now, I am not endorsing Black Lives Matter, but I think it's interesting because, they are a left-wing nut jobs over there at Black Lives Matter. But I find it interesting that they're actually protesting and attacking the very people that say that they're going to help them. Bernie Sanders. And Bernie Sanders was so scared of them that he went out and hired himself a black female publicist to try to communicate with the black community. They're not falling for it this time. But was it a poll back in August or September that showed that among African American voters, 25% supported Donald Trump? Because they know Trump can bring them jobs. Good paying jobs, not just minimum wage jobs at Burger King. By the way, I did something on the minimum wage. We'll get to that later on, but there's something about minimum wage that is rather interesting too. But here we have a certain demographic that liberal Democrats just assumed and knew would always be in their corner, and all of a sudden they're finding out that they're going to have to fight for that vote that they took for granted before. Not only that, but now they're being questioned openly. Not just behind the scenes where cameras and reporters are not allowed, but out in the open. So you got to ask, because all this stuff would have been, if Black Lives Matter only protested Republicans, the media would have a field day and it'd be never-ending story about it. But they're not. They're not targeting Republicans. They're targeting Democrats and other liberals. And I think they're doing things in liberal cities cities run by black liberals where they're staging these protests. So it's not like they're going around to, like, you know, places that are white, maybe. I don't know. San Francisco's a pretty, well, no, not really. I guess San Francisco's pretty. Maybe Seattle. That's a white city. But they're going to places that are not like Seattle. I mean, they're doing their protests in places like Detroit and Ferguson and Baltimore and Chicago. You know, places where there are large black populations that are run by liberal Democrats and have been for years, if not decades in some cases. They're running up on people who say that they're going to, well, yeah, we're going to help everybody. You know, Bernie Sanders, Clinton has been hit by Black Lives Matters at least twice now. Now remember, she's the wife of the first real black president, Bill. No, because Obama's not a real black president. He's the first non-real black president. Bill Clinton was the first real black president. She's the wife of that guy. And yet they're hitting her the hardest. Why? Because they don't believe her. And the left can try to spin the facts all they want to. The mainstream media can try to spin it. But there is no spin. The truth is, they don't believe her. So they're going to protest her. They're going to interrupt her. Because look, you know, these people are hurting. They're hurting big time. There are no jobs available. There is no opportunity where they are. And they were promised this stuff over and over and over again. And when the Obama administration in his first 2 years had the ball in their court, the Republicans could not stop them no matter what the left wanted to do. They still did nothing to help those in the inner city of all races, especially the blacks. Or were left hanging. But we gave you free health care. Well, you know, free health care isn't putting food on the table. Isn't keeping a roof over their heads. Isn't bringing down the crime rate. It's leaving people feeling destitute, desperate, and in despair. And when you have those 3 Ds combined together in mass quantities, you get what we all call crime in disorder. Look, you can look back the last seven years or so and see that there is no doubt about what I'm saying is as being true or not. It is absolutely truth. People are hurting. Democrats promise, liberals promise, don't deliver, then blame Republicans when they don't deliver, when they have the full ability to deliver, they still don't deliver, blame Republicans. And when Republicans try to respond, claim the Republicans are cold, heartless, and racist. And Republicans point out the fact that they did this and did that and did the other thing, and they have this person running and this person they support and this and this and the other thing. And the Democrats still with the lamestream media behind them say, oh, no, you guys are still racist. You want to kill black people. You want to deport all Hispanics. That's not what Trump said. He said illegals. But they try to make it sound like he wants to get rid of... You had kids out there and young people saying, Trump wants to revoke my citizenship. Trump wasn't talking about revoking anybody's citizenship. He was talking about sending back people who were illegal. And closing the borders. Look, there are people who fully understand this, like the black community, and they're wondering why we want to let in more. Well, hey, we need these high-tech immigrants from places like India and China because we don't have enough of them here in the United States. Oh, really? Well, blacks are asking, well, where's our education so we can learn how to do those jobs too? Well, I mean, you got some horrific numbers in places like Detroit and in Chicago about the lack of preparedness for adult life that the students in those cities have. Their proficiencies in basic things like reading and math are lower than low. And yet we're supposed to believe that Democrats have the answers to all our social ills. There are some groups out there who are saying, you guys are liars. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Liars. Mr. Trump has it right. He's lasering in on the economy. Hey, you remember the old tagline, it's the economy, stupid. Well, the economy ain't that good. They keep lying to us about how low the unemployment rate is, but they keep using the wrong number. We know the real numbers aren't going down. The real unemployment numbers are on the rise, and we understand that the reason that the Fed isn't now the Fed, I guess, some countries in their central banking system, they have what they call a negative rate. In other words, basically the central bank of that particular country actually pays people to borrow money. So just for instance, if you have a rate that's minus 1%, in other words, if you borrow $100,000, you're not paying back the bank $100,000. No. They're going to give you 1% for borrowing the $100,000. So basically, you only have to pay back $99,000, not $100,000. Well, there's some talk now that they're expecting the American Fed to go negative too, because the economy isn't moving. It isn't getting better. Growth rate is anemic. There aren't any jobs. Especially in places where they really need the jobs. There's no jobs in Detroit. There are no jobs in Baltimore. There are no jobs. Yeah, 95 million people out of work. Lowest labor participation rate since the Depression. And you want to tell me that the unemployment rate is 5.3%? That's a lie. Let me tell you, there are people that understand that that's a lie now, and they're not having any more of it. So when you have somebody coming along like Donald Trump that says, this is terrible, I know how to fix it because I'm a businessman, I'm a negotiator, I know how to fix this mess, I can fix it. You get people who are saying he does have the experience of creating jobs, he does have the experience of fixing government messes. Now, he's done it more than once. He does have a reputation of being a rescuer. He does have a reputation of coming from behind even when everybody else thinks that he's down and out. He's got the gall, the reputation, the stamina, and the know-how to turn things around economically. People of all creeds are paying attention to that. He's pointing out the truth about who is taking the jobs, why wages are depressed in this country, why people who have good paying jobs are being forced out of those jobs in exchange for immigrants coming in that the government is letting in and encouraging to come in to take these things like high-tech computer programming jobs away from Americans because they're cheaper. Depressing wages. Trump is saying enough is enough. That's not the way you run a country. That's not the way he's going to run it. And Americans of all backgrounds, creeds, and ethnicities are picking up on that and understand this guy knows what he's talking about when it comes to the economy, because sure as hell they've experienced those who don't, and those are called Democrats.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here, but then one of my buddies showed me this website, and now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportsyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
I am back as your host, as always, your lovable host, Rod, and I'm still coming to you live from my Bunker Ice home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is live free or die. The number that you can call tonight is the same number as it always is, toll-free 603-835-3224. Just a reminder that this program, beginning the first week of January 2016, goes to 3 hours long and moves to 9 a.m. to noon Eastern Time. One of the things that I have learned is that when we made this, before we made this announcement to you, we were making the announcement to all our syndicatees, as it were. And greater than 90% of them are moving along right with us. And that is fantastic. And that's simply because you're listening to the program on their networks. And I know before the end of the year, I'm going to be doing a special with, this is something that all the syndicatees do not know yet. So they're hearing it for the first time, along with you. I expect to do some special stuff for them all. And as a matter of fact, I would like to be able, and I know the owners of these networks and stations, they tend to be very busy people, just as I am, and I understand their time. But what I'd like to do, and it's an open invitation, just to be able to have each and every one of them individually, not all together, but individually, during the holiday season, just come on the air with me for 10 or 15 or 20 minutes. Talk about their network and what they're doing, and about the holidays, how they celebrate the holidays. Because that's the interesting part. How do other Americans celebrate the holidays? Because we're in the holiday season right now. Also, don't forget that tomorrow evening, here at 7, beginning at 7 o'clock, 7:06 p.m., I'm scheduled to have a conversation with Colonel Alan West. So you're going to want to be here for that as well. And I do believe in 2 weeks or so, we may have Sheriff Clark on the air joining me here. Isn't that kind of good stuff? Good stuff. And, I can only get these kinds of people, important, busy people on this program because I have a lot of you listening, and they've come to realize that. So that's a good thing. And our economy here, personally, well, the rest of the economy is kind of down. I know people don't hear about that. One of the things that's very important is websites. Now, here, Zinc Media owns a number of different websites, but they're all hosted by one hosting medium, and they all went down today. Every single one of my websites gone off the internet. Now, you want to talk about somebody who was frantic on the phone with these people for hours as we tried to figure out what the hell happened, why it happened, how to fix it, how to bring it back. And, of course, I had to go back and rebuild some of them, and because they couldn't get everything back, and I'm still rebuilding some of them. It was a nightmare. And I don't know if I should stay with it's easier, obviously, if you have a single host for multiple sites, but I'm of the opinion now maybe that's not I can't put all my eggs in one basket because they all went. None of them were up and running for hours today. I was pulling my hair out. Okay, I have hair, so I can spare a little bit. I'm not going bald yet. But that's the type of thing that causes some businesses to actually go out of business. If they're down for any length of time, they take a huge hit. And I'm no exception. I'm not immune from stuff like that. Zinc Media isn't immune from, RodEccles.net was down for hours today. It's not immune from stuff like that happening, I guess. But you can't sit back and whine. And notice, I didn't call a government agency and whine. I don't know what's happening. Can you help me? You need to do something. You need to go to the hosting company and find them and fine, levy some sort of high fine and then or give me a tax break or give me this or give me that. No. We went to work, figured it out, and fixed it without government help. Imagine that. We fixed a problem. We fixed something that was broken without government help. Imagine that. Wish the government would leave the economy alone enough for it to be able to fix itself. Here's from Bloomberg Business. The U.S. earnings season is on track to be the worst since 2009 as profits from oil, gas, and commodity-related companies plummet. Companies like Walmart, commodity companies. Walmart, they're a commodity. They sell commodities. And commodities is not just, pork bellies and corn. It's just about every consumable out there. Your washer and dryer is a commodity. You can get it from anyone, anywhere. The price is based on competition, how much the competition there is, and what demand there is on it. Hell, if nobody's buying washers and dryers, then you're going to see huge discounts on them, so they can sell them and move them and keep the production lines going. Same with cars, that's when all the rebates and stuff came out because they wanted to move cars. They needed to keep the production lines going because they weren't selling them. And then they sort of got trapped into that rebate thing. I think it's kind of, gone the other way. Now there doesn't seem to be as many rebates out there anymore, but they're not hurting for business yet. But car sales are not exactly skyrocketing either. So far, according to Bloomberg, about 3/4 of the S&P 500 have reported results with profits down over 3% on a share-weighted basis. Basically, the profits are way down. This would be the biggest quarterly drop in earnings since the third quarter of 2009, and the second straight quarter of profit declines. Earnings growth turned negative for the first time in 6 years in the second quarter of this year. It means that we're starting to head down towards recession. Folks, that's what it means. It means consumers are not spending. They're not spending because they don't have the money to spend. Part of the problem is wage depression. When people aren't making the same amount of money that they used to make, well, they're not going to be able to keep spending like they used to spend. They just can't do that. They don't have the money. Now, there are certain industries that are starting to see an uptick, of course, and that's in marketing and advertising because, hey, companies need to make sure that their products and services are being seen over the competition so those people who have the limited dollars come to them to spend it. But for the vast majority of the rest of the economy, it's not doing so well. People are down. Jobs are down. People are out of work, unemployed, underemployed. They don't have the money to spend. So what do we have? The damage is the biggest in commodity-related industries, with the energy sector showing a 54% drop in quarterly earnings per share so far this quarter. With the profits in the materials sector, commodity sector, falling 15%. Walmart just reported that its earnings were down. And everybody was like, what? Walmart is down? What's going on? And of course, Walmart says, well, just because we gave everybody a raise, minimum wage now at Walmart's are $10 an hour, not 15, but 10. But that's not the whole story. Not the whole story. The whole story is that sales are down. In other words, they're not making as many sales. So combine that with giving everybody a raise because you got people out there, everybody should be making $15 an hour. 15 is it. 15 is it. After you make $15 an hour, that's you're full-time, $30,000 a year, basically, gross. But that if you have a family of four and you're only making $30,000 a year, and after all your taxes are taken out, you're still right around the poverty level, government poverty level. No, you're not really poor as the rest of the world looks at being poor. But you don't get to spend a lot of extra money, though, do you? No, you don't. And the news about Walmart was a wake-up call. And here's another wake-up call. Target, otherwise known as Target, and I know the limit. If you go to Target and you spend more than $50, it is no longer called Target. It is called Target. But if you spend less than $50 in a single trip, then it's Target. I don't know who made that up and why, but that's the Target thing. But Target plans to close 13 stores nationwide. 13. That's not. First of all, for those of you who have triskaidekaphobia, that's the fear of number 13. Yeah, try saying that 5 times fast. Target plans to close 13 stores nationwide, including one in New Ulm and 2 others in Milwaukee and Superior, Wisconsin. The Minneapolis, Minnesota-based retailer plans to close the stores on January 30. 13 are among Target's nearly 1,800 stores in the U.S. Now, Target was hurt by a massive credit card breach before Christmas in 2013 that sent shoppers temporarily fleeing. The company also pulled the plug on a major expansion into Canada earlier this year. Yeah, they remember that one? They pulled out of that in a hurry. But and there are people who thought it was a Canadian company. No, it's Minneapolis. Didn't start. What did it? It didn't start. But in any event, there you have it. Now Target is closing stores because they're not making the money. And these are probably underperforming stores. Now, the problem is that these are very large buildings. And it is very, very difficult to get them to be repurposed. And usually when buildings that size get repurposed, they have to be broken up. And it's not easy to do. It's not easy for real estate companies to say, yeah, we have this huge, 125,000 square foot Target store that you could utilize. You can come and rent, and then other companies say, well, geez, we only need 25,000 square feet or 50,000 square feet. And then it gets chopped up, and it gets to the point where now they can get to a point where on the other end that they don't have a size that's suitable for most businesses. Because, it's a lot of the large retailers, they need at least 25,000, 30,000 square feet, upwards of 50,000 to 60,000 square feet. You get stores like Walmart and Target and Home Depot and Lowe's where you're looking at over 100,000 square feet in space. It gets hard to find replacements for those. And that contributes to a glut on the real estate market, which drives down rent prices on real estate and the value of real estate. It drives it down. You have a bunch of places that are sitting empty. Well, a person, if you're paying $10 a square foot over here, but somebody over there has got an empty building and they're willing to cut you a deal for $7 a square foot, you're moving. But in order to keep you in their building, they say, oh, well, we'll do it for $650 if you stay. We'll match it for $7 or something like that. Make it worthwhile for the business to stay where they are. That drives down the value of the property. And when commercial values start to dip, well, that means the economy is not doing so well. So then private property, home values begin to dip. All this works together. The way it always is, folks. You don't have people that can afford to buy your house at $150,000, well, then your house isn't worth $150,000 anymore. And all of a sudden, you're finding that you have a $150,000 house that you can only sell for $130,000. Well, that's its value now. You just lost $20,000. That hurts. This is what we have, and this is what we're getting from oversized, overgrown, overbloated, big government with too many rules, too many regulations, and too many laws. And we keep adding more and more rules, regulations, and laws. I mean, last January alone, across the nation, we added over 10,000 new laws and regulations on the books. I mean, it was a massive legal increase. And all of that cost you and me and businesses big money. It cost us. That means prices go up a little bit, so we're able to buy less. And we pay more attention to what we are buying. And that forces profits to take a dive. And when businesses start to see profits take a dive, what do? Well, they try to shore up their profit margin, their profit base. And one of the surefire ways to do that for an ongoing business concern is to cut back on multiple locations. Cut back. And when you cut back on some of those locations, well, that means people lose jobs. And the cycle continues. Then you add on the fact that you bring in these H-1B immigrants that that are technically proficient, coming in to places like Disney. Disney hires them for $60,000 or $65,000 and tells a person who's doing the exact same job, who's an American citizen, who's earning $100,000, "Hey, you're fired because we just hired this cheaper guy, who's an immigrant, by the way, and he's legal. Government let us bring him in. Bye-bye, so sad. See you later." A $30,000 or $25,000 payroll savings is huge in business. Can you imagine hiring somebody for $25,000 or $30,000 a year less and getting the exact same job done? Can you blame a business for doing that? No, you really can't. But can you blame your government for promoting it and pushing it? Yes, you can. And this is what's happening, folks, and this is why Target is closing 13 stores, probably going to be more next year. This is why Walmart's profits are down. This is why the industry or the energy sector is down. Yeah, I know gas prices have been suppressed tremendously lately. What are we paying on average? About a little over $2 a gallon for gas now. It's a good, comfortable price. But it means jobs lost. Plain and simple. But one of the things that people we don't do here is we don't really pay attention to simple economics. Economics really is this. No, the lower something costs, or the lower the price, the more of it you have to sell in order to make a decent return or profit. So, yes, I'm like most people. I try to look for the best deal or the lowest price sometimes on a product that I want. I'm not looking for the cheapest product. I'm looking for the product that I want for the lowest price. Well, when everybody starts doing that, then other companies have to start either price matching or dropping their price even lower so they can attract my dollar. And it's this race to the bottom. Well, the lower their price and the lower their profit margin, the more of them they have to sell. And if normally they could make a good return on investment by selling 100 items, now they got to sell 500 to make the same that they used to make on 100. Well, that's a problem. Well, maybe there aren't 500 people. Maybe there's 100 people. Maybe there aren't 500 people. Maybe there's only 250. Well, they needed another 250 because now their profits are lower. Somebody loses a job. Let's face it. Although 13 stores for Target represents a lot of people losing their job, imagine if Target had to go out of business and 1,800 stores had to close. And not so good then, is it? Absolutely not. Hey, Maine, by the way, speaking of wages, Maine did something quite interesting. Maine, they put on the ballot the $15 an hour minimum wage in Maine. Portland, Maine. Portlandia. And the voters in Maine, of all places, voted it down. I guess they didn't think hamburger flippers and teenagers deserved to have a minimum wage of $15 an hour. That the market should set the price for the wage, and an artificial price was not going to do them any good, and it wasn't going to do the community any good, and it was going to harm the community. So the voters overwhelmingly decided. So this whole notion that liberals are out there and like Bernie Sanders, $15 a minimum wage, most people aren't on board for that. And in some places that are kind of liberal leaning, yeah, this is always interesting when you get a liberal leaning area. You know, they got the chance to vote on it, and they just said, oh, hell no.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Start training for a new career in as little as 18 days. National EMS Institute's innovative boot camp program will train you for a new career. Learn to respond to emergency situations and become a certified EMT in just 18 days. National EMS Institute guarantees 100% job placement. Visit www.nationaleMSinstitute.com today to learn more about our 18-day boot camp. Or call us at 1-800-497-6732. NationalEMSinstitute.com.
Stuck in a boring, low-paid job? By 2017, there will be a shortage of 2 million cybersecurity jobs worldwide. If you have a technical background but don't have a computer certification, you're being drastically underpaid. In months, you could be qualified for a new job in information technology, making real money with real job security. A new career is just a few clicks away at thecodeoflearning.com.
Eccles Show.
Welcome back. You know, one of the things that we have to, here in the United States, we have to think about a lot is law enforcement. No. I know. Don't go off thinking that I'm about to bash law enforcement, but hear me out on this one. This is important. It's getting to the point where we may have an influx or an abundance of law enforcement officials here in this country. And see, that part of the problem is, I think I've explained before, the difference between enforcing the law and upholding the law. And right now, we're enforcing it instead of upholding it. There is a difference. Go back and listen to the archives of the program. And I think I went over that last week. But we could be facing an influx of law enforcement personnel soon, which does not bode well for the American citizen, actually. And you're probably thinking to yourself, what the hell is he? And were they just going to hire people? No. See, we have a lot of law enforcement personnel who are floating around down there in Central and South America. Well, my friend, there is a change in the wind. The wind is starting to blow in a different direction on our drug policy in Central and South America. Mexico, according to the New York Times, Mexico Supreme Court opens the door to legalizing marijuana use. Yeah, marijuana. Pot. Weed. Wacky tobacco. The Mexican Supreme Court opened the door to legalizing marijuana earlier today, delivering a pointed challenge to the nation's strict substance abuse laws and adding its weight to a growing debate in Latin America over the cost and consequences of the war against drugs. Leaders in Latin America are questioning Washington's hard-line anti-drug strategy in the region. Now, what happens if, say, Brazil and Venezuela and Mexico decide to say, well, you know what? Pot ain't so bad. Let's legalize pot. Well, first of all those drug cartels might lose a little bit of their money. And second, they might become legitimate farmers. But you have all those wonderful U.S. citizen law enforcement officials that are roaming around in these foreign countries down there, helping local officials. Well, and sometimes doing it without the local authorities knowing that they're there. But if it's no longer illegal, what are those law enforcement people going to do? They're going to come home. Think the government's going to lay them off? Absolutely not. They're going to put them on the streets here. And just look, everybody's talking about, you got the left talking about how our military interferes all over the world. But none of them ever talk about our law enforcement interventions and interference. None of them. I don't hear Hillary Clinton talking about the drug war. Then we have too many U.S. Law enforcement officials overseas. I don't hear them saying anything like that. We need to cut back in the military. I don't hear them talking about, we need to cut back on the FBI, or we need to cut back on the ATF. I don't hear them talking about we need to cut back on drug enforcement, special drug enforcement units overseas. I don't hear them talking about any of that stuff. I hear them talk about the military all the time. And yet you have the leftists over here that think that, marijuana should be legal, man. We should have legal pot. But at the same time, I don't hear them demanding that we help other foreign countries legalize their pot crop. Now, I'm not saying I'm against it or I'm for it. Although I got to tell you, other than the fact that that these men and women who are in harm's way down there would be coming home and possibly causing a lot of grief to citizens, I think we should get out of that. We shouldn't be down there trying to do intervention in the drug war. We should be concentrating those efforts at our borders to keep it from getting here in the first place. You're not going to stop them from producing it. You know, those countries are too big, too jungle infested, if you want to call it that. There's too many places for them to hide. Look how difficult it is to find, some of these big drug kingpins and drug lords. And these guys are worth billions of dollars collectively. I mean, look how hard it is to find them and shut down their operations. Screw that, costs a lot of money. Screw that. Get out of Colombia. Get out of Brazil. Get out of Venezuela. Get out of Mexico, and let them handle it. Problem is that they'll probably decide that some of that stuff isn't worth fighting and make it legal. Now, if somebody wants to take, I know a lot of people think, well, it's a drain on our society, Rod. The illegal drug use is a drain on society. I mean, illicit drug and abusing drugs is a drain. I get that. I understand how harmful and painful it can be on a society, especially at a family level. But you know something? You got to look at the cost factor. And then you got to look at the reason factor. Why is it such a drain on society? And is the way that we're handling it now working? Obviously, it's not. And it's costing us buku bucks, and our society has this humongous drain on it just trying to fight it. And that cost to stop drug use cost us more than the drain on people who actually use the drugs. So basically, what I'm saying is if we cut out and just made some drugs legal and spent that money instead on education and helping those who get addicted to this stuff, it would be cheaper and work better than what we're doing now. Right now, I mean, in my state, we've got this whole thing about, we got this heroin epidemic all of a sudden. Where is that coming from? I mean, why are people are ODing on heroin left and right or in New Hampshire? It's a bad thing, and it's gotten to a point now where the police and our government agencies have taken a new tact. Something that you never would have heard of, a few years ago. But here in New Hampshire, if you're a user and somebody else is using and they OD and you call 911, you will not be charged with a crime. So in other words, you won't be charged with use and possession if you attempt to save somebody's life when they OD. Like, wow. Usually what happens, somebody ODs and the person that calls 911, they're the first suspect. What, did you give it to them? And did you do this? And are you using? And they get hauled off to jail. So people don't call 911 because they don't want to go to jail. And people die. And now I forget the name of the particular drug because I hate the name of drugs. When you use the real drug name, they're ridiculously long and hard to pronounce in the first place. But there's a drug here that helps people who OD and a number of different types of and illegal. And people can actually get a no questions asked prescription of this drug so they can administer it to somebody who ODs. No questions asked. And no, they're not being tracked or traced. We have to look at this whole issue of illicit drugs differently, because the way that we have been handling it obviously isn't working. People are still dying in massive numbers, and it is costing taxpayers a massive amount of money. And it is tying up local law enforcement when they could be using those assets and those resources in catching real criminals. Just saying, I'm not advocating that people all of a sudden should be allowed to, totally devastate their body and their life, but it is their life. I'm not saying that we should all of a sudden, all illegal barbiturates and opiates and should be legal now. No, I don't want to see crack on the streets. I don't want to see heroin on the streets. I don't want to see cocaine on the street. I don't want to see LSD on the street. I don't want to see any of that stuff on the street. I don't have a problem, although I don't smoke it. I don't have a problem with pot. I know there are a lot of people that do. I don't have a problem with it. I know what it does to people, and I know this whole notion that the pot smokers and pro-pot people say, well, it cures this, and it's not as bad as cigarettes and all that. I know all that is BS. But at the same time, I know that it is not. And they have proven this time and time again, that marijuana is not a gateway drug. And why is that? Because you have to think about all the people that actually smoke pot, and they don't do any other drug. And they don't have any enticement to do another drug, a hard drug. It's not a gateway drug. As a matter of fact, there was a study about 3 years ago that I read that suggested that tobacco use, cigarette smoking, was more of a gateway drug than pot. No, we just have to weigh the pros and the cons and what can we do about it that works better than what we're doing now. Because what we're doing now, we're not winning, we're losing. And we're spending a hell of a lot of money, and a lot of people are dying and being affected while we're losing. Have to do something different. FreeBeacon.com is reporting something that you're not going to probably hear about in the lamestream media, but you're going to hear about it right here on the Rod Eccles Show. Why? Because I like this kind of thing. I think you'll like it too. Gun sales set a record for a 6th month in a row. Summer of the Gun, as they tried to label all the gun sales during the summer, continues into the fall. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, to those of you in Rush Limbaugh's Real Linda, processed a record number of background checks in the month of October, indicating that gun sales were at an all-time high for the 6th month in a row. Now, naturally, 99.9% of people are not going to go through the process of being investigated by the FBI to own a gun if they don't intend to or have not applied to purchase one. The FBI's National Instant Background Check System processed nearly 2 million firearms-related checks in October. Nearly 2 million firearms-related checks in October. That is over a 370,000 person increase in checks over last year and a new record for the month. It also makes October the 6th consecutive month to see a record number of checks. And there does not appear to be owing. People are buying their firearms, many different kinds of firearms. Probably multiple of the same. I mean, after all, if you're ever going to be the hero, like in a lot of movies, well, they have 2 or 4 or 6 of the same gun, right? Because, they got to have all the clips got to be the same. You know, they shoot off the 15 rounds in each, boom, 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 and then they, instead of reloading, they toss the gun aside and take out 2 more, and boom, 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 and they toss those aside, and they pick up the last 2, and boom, 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 and then they have the automatic clip change thing, whatever, on their waist, and they use that, kind of like the Matrix. That stuff, you know, I've got a Matrix leather coat. I should probably look how I can outfit that coat with, you know, clips. Kind of cool, actually. Could do 6 in that coat. On the clips. About 6 extra clips. Of course, obviously, some on the belt. So I'd be ready to go. Since every purchase of a new gun in the United States requires a background check, the metric is considered a reliable proxy for how many overall gun sales there have been, even though the number does not represent a one-to-one calculation for gun sales. Oh, no. I wasn't leading to that. It's not saying that nearly 2 million new people bought firearms. It said that there were nearly 2 million firearms that were sold, most likely sold in the month of October. And obviously, some people are purchasing multiples. And there are some people, especially on the left, that want to limit how many you can purchase to like 1 or 2 a month. Who the hell are they to decide how many you can buy? So government is trying to get into the act of telling you how to spend your money. Well, you got to buy health care. Well, it's not health care. You're buying health insurance. Got to buy health insurance. Not. No, you're not supposed to. Government isn't supposed to be able. Free government is not supposed to be able to tell its citizens how to spend their money. Not at all. But we have a government that is trying. So far in 2015, the FBI has performed over 17.5 million firearms-related checks. Currently, the year 2015 is on pace to beat 2013's record of 21 million checks. And that's pretty much because we got a couple of liberal candidates, especially Hillary Clinton, who's talking about, we should confiscate all the guns. We should disband guns and ban this and ban that and ban ammo and watch crime shoot through the roof. Probably go out and buy a couple new ones for myself. I think I will. I think I'll probably, I'm going to legally go out and purchase a few firearms for my own personal use. I like guns. I like the way some of them look. They're works of art to me. Some of them. They are. No, you can display them. Why not? I don't have little kids in my house. I can display. Well, somebody could steal it. Well, they can try to break into my house and they can try to steal it. I have a problem if I'm home. But, because I wouldn't get a firearm that I wouldn't know how to use. I'd thoroughly know I'd go to the gun range, learn how to thoroughly use that new firearm if it's something new to me. And I'd learn it inside, it'd get to the point where I'd learn how to take that thing apart with, blindfolded and put it back together. Much like your military people, soldiers. See, my whole goal is to be like Jet Li in one of the Lethal Weapons movies where he disassembled a gun fast without them even knowing what happens until after it happened. I'd love to be able to do that. Wouldn't that be so cool? That'd be cool if you could do that. Anyway, campus reform. Again, All of a sudden, I find one story, and all of a sudden I'm getting all these stories from campusreform.com. Here's another one from Campus Reform. Yesterday I brought you the story about them shredding the Constitution to make an undercover reporter who was saying that they were a student shred the Constitution, and agreeing with the student on much of what the student was saying about how it made the Constitution made that undercover reporter / student feel so badly. And the administrator was like, yeah, I understand. Here, you want me to shred it for you? Here, will that make you feel better? I think this is probably a good idea. We should definitely shred it. But here's another story from Campus Reform. UWM offers a voice feminization therapy to help students live their gender identities. Now, I got to tell you, I had to stop and ask, what the... Again, you're sending your kids, you're paying for this stuff, you're sending your kids to colleges, and this is what they're spending their money on. As part of the university's transitioning at UWM, University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, resource, the university encourages students to utilize voice feminization therapy for male to female transgender clients. Now, the university claims voice feminization therapy is a non-medical option that allows transgender students to live their gender identities. Now, if this isn't the most sick thing, one of the most sick things I've ever heard. The University of Wisconsin is for offering this to help male students claiming to be women. I wonder if they're going to give a male student a female student of the year award, like Glamour did for Bruce Jenner. As part of the university's transitioning at UWM. Michael Johnson, the media content manager at UWM, told Campus Reform that the school provides a voice feminization therapy in compliance with non-discrimination policies established by the university and the American Speech Language Hearing. What are they teaching these boys? How to sound like women? I guess if you dress like a girl and you sound like a girl, that means you're a girl? Even if you don't go through surgery and have it cut off and things added? I mean, really? Are we really slipping that deep into insanity in this nation? This is outlandish. The school also offers gender therapy for trans students at the UWM North Health Center and provides recommendations for students seeking hormone therapy. The university also has over 50 gender-inclusive restrooms on campus and guarantees students the right to use any bathroom they please. Students using recreation center locker rooms are similarly encouraged to use whichever locker rooms align most with their gender identity and comfort levels. I'm a straight male. I feel very comfortable going into the female locker room. Yep. I feel more comfortable in the female locker room than I do in the male locker room. Because in the male locker room, there's a bunch of homos over there. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I'm uncomfortable with them. But I'm more comfortable because I'm a straight guy with the girls. Is this what we're coming to? Is this what we're getting at? Really? I guess so, folks. Well, we're out of time for tonight, but you know the drill. We'll be back here again tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. I hope you don't try to sound like a female if you're a male. I'm Rod Eccles. I'm out.